Councillor Van Passen, Nick, Alexis, Cindy's with us. Do we see Sarah? Is she on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
Antoinette?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Helene? I see Michelle. We have Chris Garwood and Zvi.
We're here.
Hello.
Excellent. Has Michael joined us yet?
Oh, sorry, Wanda, he sent a Facebook message to you and I. He he very likely can't attend tonight, and I'll forward it to you via email. He just might have to talk to his supervisors at work because he works for the OPP about being able to participate in the board, but we'll have a discussion about that.
Okay, fantastic. Laura? Has Laura joined us? Laura Gibson? So we have Laura who might be joining us. So Teresa, we can watch out for Laura and also for Helene. So it looks like we have a solid group here. We might have a couple of other members join us as we get rolling. I'd just like to welcome everyone. Who knew it would be a snowy April 21st meeting that we would have today? So hopefully everyone did not pack their winter coats and you know, they're well equipped, and the short weather I think it's returning by the end of the week. So keep your spirits up and welcome to our meeting. I'd like to get us started with item number 1, ceremonial activities. Teresa, this is where I refer to you. Do we have any ceremonial activities to acknowledge at this time?
Through the chair, no, I don't see any listed on the agenda, and I'm not aware of any unless any of the committee members have anything to provide.
No, very good. Do we have any changes to the agenda? I know we will start off with a very positive presentation and we will acknowledge our guests shortly. But I believe we might have an addition to the agenda, Zvi?
That's correct, Wanda. Just in other business, there's a couple of items that I'd like to provide as by way of update for the board.
And there are a few hands that are up as well, Wanda.
Okay, so how should we list that?
Okay, so from my perspective, I'd like to chat about a culture group of some kind, a culture committee that I've been thinking of forming. I'd like to get some input and feedback from TDAB. In addition to that, I'd like to just provide some high-level updates on some of the things that are going on. I already have an update in the agenda to talk about the recovery plan, and there are some other things going on. So just a general economic development update to keep everybody abreast of what's happening.
Fantastic. So we will add those 2 items, Teresa, under other business. And it looks like we have Christine and then followed by Michelle. I hope I got that order right.
I'd like to add to the agenda a regional relief and recovery fund update and potential to keep your eyes open for of what potentially could be coming down the pike for from FedDev Ontario to help support our local small businesses.
Okay, that's under new business. Thank you, Christine. Michelle?
Helene's just having a little trouble logging onto Teams. She will join us shortly. I just was texting with her. I would just love to suggest, if we don't know what the ceremonial activities will be, we've had that on the menu, on the thing for years, and I don't think we've ever had anything. Would it be possible to just like not have it on the agenda moving forward unless we have something?
Maybe Teresa can look into that, or Zvi or Chris can comment. It might be a protocol item. Any comments? Mr. Van Passen?
Yeah, and I think the clerk would be the proper one, but they are trying to get every committee of council onto one format on the agendas and the minutes kind of thing. So that's just the standard in the procedural bylaws and on how we do it. And yeah, you'll probably never have a ceremonial activity at the committee level, but that's just how we do things. But our new clerk is sort of looking at all of that, the fresh set of eyes after 7 years under the guidance of Mr. Gazelle. And, you know, it's a good suggestion, but we like to be standardized on all the committees. So.
Okay, so that's a standard item. Very good. I believe we have Nick, your hand's up.
Yes, thanks, Wanda. So I'm just going to suggest it. You know, I went through some of the CED 101 workshop last time. There's more to that. And so sometimes our meetings run short. And if it is, I'll leave that to your discretion. I could do a few more slides on that, but I'll leave that to your discretion.
Okay. So is that something that you would, you're requesting perhaps to be placed on the agenda?
Right. Yeah. Just at the end, if there's time left over, and we can go through a little more of that CED 101. But if not, and everybody's tired and wants to end, that's good with me too. So.
Okay.
Oops.
Well, I've added you as an additional item under new business, so we can see how the group is feeling. And Christine, your hand's still up. Is there any other additions or?
No, I just took it off. Sorry about that.
Okay, we're great. And I see Helene has joined us. Welcome. And moving forward, number 3, disclosure of conflict of interest. Do we have any conflict of interest to declare at this time?
No.
No? Okay, moving forward. We're on item number 4, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome our special guest tonight. I think we could use a pick-me-up, and I think that the team from the Long Point World Biosphere Reserve Foundation will have a fantastic update to share with us regarding their developments. So we have their executive director, we have Rick Levesque, we have Amanda House and Sandy Jukes. Welcome. And we're turning the floor over to you. And Teresa has her hand up. So if you require a shared screen, please let us know, and Teresa can make that shift. And Teresa, did you have any questions before they get started?
No, but through the chair, I just wanted to, I should have done this at the beginning. I apologize. I just wanted everyone to know I am recording the meeting tonight. So just so everybody's aware, the meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, well, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Thanks, and thanks for having us. I think Sandy and Rick are still on the call. I don't see their faces on the screen anymore. But yes, I will need to share my screen if you're able to. Is it just at the bottom there? Keep on.
So on a Teams, it should be at the top where the box with
I
the
see
arrow
it.
pointing up.
Excuse me, Chantel's waiting in the lobby.
Can wait a couple minutes before I get started.
I don't see her on my end.
I have her on mine, and I don't quite know why, but I just let her in.
Thank you.
I've been here all along. I'm not sure what's happening.
Sorry, I have waiting in the lobby, and it's you, so that's okay, as long as you're here. Hello, Chantel.
Okay, so I guess in the interest of time and respecting the big agenda that you guys have for tonight, I will get started. Thank you again for having us attend your meeting. We're really excited to share what we are going to be working on this year and into early next. I think just in the interest of keeping us on track, if you can hold all of your questions until the end of this presentation, just so I can make sure that I get through everything and am able to kind of give you a high-level overview of what our biosphere is working on from a sustainable tourism perspective. So really looking today to present a couple of initiatives that we're working on in order to get some alignment across all of our initiatives. I think there's some really great partnership opportunities. So really looking forward to sharing some of these with you. Before I dive into that, however, I just want to level set on the Long Point Biosphere Reserve. So our organization is really focused on enhancing ecosystems, community well-being, and kind of creating that partnership between nature and our visitors, both local and out of town. So Long Point from, oh, sorry, I'm just getting some feedback. I feel like one of the teachers that I'm sure all of you are experiencing right now. If everyone can mute their microphone, that would be great. But Long Point and the surrounding area has one of the largest diversities of plants and animals in all of Canada, which is pretty remarkable. It's a world famous location for migratory birds, the Carolinian forest, and because of all this ecological significance, it was actually designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 1986. There's only 701 World Biosphere Reserves across 124 countries. 18 of those are in Canada, but we are the only one in southwestern Ontario. So we have a really interesting piece of land here right underneath of us in Norfolk County. Our initiatives, if we look at our kind of top three, we have the Amazing Places program, which some of you may be familiar with. We're looking at some signage and looking at revamping our Sustainable Tourism Ambassador Award. So all three of these large initiatives are really focused on how can we increase awareness with those in our community and outside of our community of the ecological significance of the biosphere and also of Norfolk County. Looking at Amazing Places more specifically, on a lighter scale, we're re-engaging our Amazing Place locations, enhancing the marketing and support that we offer those amazing places through social media, radio advertisements, just overall trying to get more people aware of these amazing places and increasing our brochure distribution. Just as a reminder, Amazing Places was created in order to diversify the populations that are going to more highly populated areas like the beaches in Port Dover, Turkey Point, Long Point. How can we kind of reroute people to see that there are other places within the biosphere that are truly amazing? With this, we're also working on a mobile app that will be accessible on your phone. So it's not through the app store like a traditional app, but it's a URL that can be typed into your mobile device that will take you to a mobile-friendly website for Amazing Places, which is a little bit of a difference compared to what the experience is now with our current Amazing Places site. With this mobile app, we're looking to add more information that promotes the location, other amazing places nearby, kind of making a full day of your stay in Norfolk, or a full day if you're from Norfolk County as well. So you have the information to plan out an entire afternoon, entire day, hours and fees, just really enhancing the information that's available on that app. And then the added piece as well is the self-guided tour information. So how can we make this a little bit COVID friendly, given I know In the past, we've done bus tours. That's obviously not possible right now. So how can we allow people to experience these amazing places on their own or in smaller groups, and giving them the ability to do that through this app with the videos and self-guided tours. And again, really wanting to tie it all back to why is this place and this area ecologically significant? So connecting it all back to sustainability and biodiversity. We're also looking to, overall just increase everyone's awareness of this amazing place that is the biosphere, and how their, impact in visiting this area is significant and what that means. The last bit is we'd like to tie it to the Sustainable Tourism Ambassador Awards. So kind of providing this incentive that if you are doing some sustainable business practices, you could be featured in our app as a place, if you're going to this amazing place, hey, here's a sustainable business you could stop for lunch or book a tour through, kind of enhancing the overall experience of them coming to visit or traveling within the biosphere. Connected to that is we have Amazing Places video tour series that has started. So we have 5 videos. So we've taken all of our amazing places and we've organized them into trails, birds and wetlands, amazing spaces, parks, and heritage. And essentially each one of these videos will take a deeper dive into the amazing place and provide a little bit more information. So not only will we feature these videos in our Amazing Places app, we'll also feature them on our website and anywhere else where it's appropriate across any initiatives, just really trying to get the information out there so people know about these places and why they would be a great place to visit. Our second large initiative this year is signage. So when we look at phase 1, we'd like to overall shift from Long Point Biosphere Region to Reserve. It's something that a lot of other biospheres are currently doing as well. It just is changing the language to be more inviting and expansive of what the area is. I know for us personally, we have a lot of confusion that Long Point Biosphere Reserve is just Long Point, but it's actually the entire county. So by changing to region, we want to make sure that people actually know, hey, it's not just, the tip of Long Point, it's actually all encompassing of the county. And with that, we are also working on some gateway signage and would like to post it at 7 of the major highways coming into Norfolk County that say, hey, you're entering a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. There's some examples there that I've pictured of some other biospheres that have some signage as well. So again, kind of going back to the very beginning, just trying to do these initiatives to increase the public's awareness of, we are a biosphere, why that's significant, and why this area is such an ecological importance. For phase 2, we're looking at expanding the gateway signage. Ideally, it would be at all entrances of Norfolk County, not just the 7, but obviously we have to walk before we can run. And then also looking at doing some Clean Up Norfolk and Clean Up the Great Lakes signage at major beach entrances and marinas as part of a larger initiative for cleaning up and tracking plastic pollution within the Great Lakes. So really just hoping some of this signage will prompt more awareness and more education across the community and those coming to visit. The last piece here is our Sustainable Tourism Ambassador Award. So right now we're looking to simplify the language around the guidelines and what it means to win and what it means to be nominated for this award. It's a little bit complicated the way that it lives right now. So really just hoping to pare it back to be plain language, get more people nominated and re-engage those that have won this award in the past. Also looking to create a package for past winners with more brochures, again, trying to increase awareness of the biosphere, and also give them some talking points for what it means to be a sustainable business, what other past winners are doing for sustainable business practices, and give them some talking points around sustainable tourism and around the biosphere. So then we have ambassadors out in the community that are helping us spread awareness as well. And then the last bit is additional support for those winners. So in addition to the package, we'd also look at amping up any social media support, radio ads, and any other marketing pieces that we can help them with. So I blew through that, but I know we didn't have a ton of time on the agenda and wanted to be respectful. So opening it up now for some more discussion, I think, obviously I'm a little biased, but I think there's some great opportunities here for us to partner on a number of initiatives that may be closely tied to the county's tourism strategy. It's also a great opportunity for us to look at potentially signage or cross collaboration with our mobile app. So would be interested in anyone's thoughts or if anyone has any questions.
Okay, so we have a text here. I believe that's from Michelle. That yeah, certainly identifying. Yeah, this represents really positive news for us to see the growth that your organization is going through right now and all the new initiatives. Christine, you have your hand up.
Yep, and now I just unmuted. So that it looks fantastic. It sounds very exciting. Any promotion of the beautiful natural resource assets Norfolk County has, I think, is amazing and it's worthwhile. I guess there's a few. The challenge that I see, or what I'd be interested in working a little bit more on, is in this COVID environment. You know, as we have these beautiful natural assets, and I'm a more or less resident of Turkey Point. I see the tourism coming in, and I see the plastic garbage everywhere. So how do we encourage? Because it's kind of interesting. We have public health, and I'm not throwing any shade on anyone, but the real juxtaposition is we don't want folks coming in from weird and wonky regions who are in gray lockdowns coming in. We're at diametrically opposed, and I'm just wondering if there's a way, and if anyone has any thoughts. Again, how do we respect COVID protocols in order to get a piece of the tourism that is going to happen regardless? How do we do that safely for our residents and for our visitors, so that we can give some kind of an opportunity to our tourism sector to get a piece of this industry, but in a safe way? So I love the idea, and I think it's fantastic, and I don't want to, COVID will eventually go. I had my shot today, folks. It's pain less until the muscle pains start. But anyway, I'm not focusing on that. But I think the cross promotion, certainly from a signage perspective, an SEO perspective, marketing outside of Norfolk County, because if you're going to be involved in this and you want to take advantage of it, you're the type of person who's going to bring their kids with bike helmets and bikes and hiking, and it's a whole different segment. Like, this isn't your teetotaler type folks going into these places, generally speaking. So I think there's wonderful opportunity, and I'm very excited about it. But I just would love to see if we can figure out a way to do it safely this year.
Any responses to Christine's comment before we move forward with Zvi? I know that with public health regulations, it's all about tracking and measuring and identifying capacity levels, which right now 25% seems to be the key target. Any other comments on that? If not, Zvi?
Thank you. So thanks for that, Amanda, and it's great to see the progress that you've made. We chatted earlier this year. I wanted to ask you what the timelines were for the web app, the in-browser app. It sounds like the videos are already made, or are those also in progress? I just wanted to get a sense of timing.
Yep, great question. So the videos are in progress. Basically, everything I presented is in progress. Nothing at this point is complete. We're looking at having the mobile app ready for this season. So sometime in June, kind of mid to late June would be when we launch. Kind of on the trend of walking before we can run. The version that we launch in June may not have all those videos that I showed. It kind of depends on how the development goes with that. But our plan is to launch it so we have something out for this tourism season, and then we can, reset, look at the feedback in the fall, and then keep adding to it and adding more content as we need to.
Okay. So the interesting thing is with the app, as you and I talked about, Norfolk's also working on a tourism app. And earlier this week in conversations with Birds Canada, we talked about potentially creating, our app has the ability to create crowds, which is basically a curated experience. You come into the app and you say, I'm interested in an ecological type of experience, or these are the kinds of things that interest me. And then they have a setup with recommendations based on their likes. So we talked about how we could incorporate Birds Canada, of course, yourselves, and it sounds like you have some of the same concerns that they had, which is how do you spread people around, right? How do you ensure that you don't have everybody trying to crowd into the same point or the same location? And I think that with certainly your app will take care of that from your perspective, but I think if we have that curated experience for environment and people who want environmental tourism, we can develop the app in such a way that they are shown multiple places to see birds, multiple places to experience the environment, and then align, because it's a balance. It's a balance between we want to bring people in, and yet we want to protect those sensitive areas. From a timing perspective, our timing is similar, but we are waiting for COVID to pretty much be lifted. At least from a public health perspective, we aren't necessarily ready to go live with our app before public health gives us the go-ahead to start inviting people into the community. But once we do have that ready, I definitely see some great opportunities for collaboration and importantly to promote some of your content within our
Awesome.
framework. Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention is Amazing Places is not just unique to our biosphere. There are multiple biospheres that have adopted this program. So as part of this mobile application that we're creating, we're also hoping to create a consistent experience for people across all of the biosphere regions. So all of them, hopefully in Ontario, but potentially expanding that out. So if someone sees an Amazing Places logo or goes on our mobile app, eventually we'd like to have that experience similar if you were, up in the Fundy biosphere or something like that. So it's great that there's going to be consistency, and it will be nice that ours kind of looks at Amazing Places, but then the Norfolk one looks, could be anything really.
Yeah, and just one more piece. So we have a new brand strategy that was developed as a draft. We're now in our phase two of that brand strategy and specific to tourism. And what we're doing now is going to those stakeholders that are draws of tourists into the community. So those organizations and experience and managers that actually attract people to the community. And we want to validate that the brand strategy is correct, that we've captured everything, we've got the right target markets, we've got the right messaging, et cetera. And then the second piece, and this is almost the more important piece, how do we work together to bring in those people, those crowds, and what is the role for Norfolk County? So does Norfolk County promote Norfolk County, or is it more important for us to actually partner with these various organizations to bring scale? Because none of our organizations really have scale. We don't have large casinos or very large organizations that are massive draws. So it's about bringing people together, organizations together, and Norfolk County leveraging that and putting in resources and supports to provide that scale. So as part of our second phase of our brand strategy, we're bringing together these stakeholders, and I'm hoping that either yourself or somebody else from the biosphere might be able to join us in those roundtables to discuss what will future destination marketing and promotion for Norfolk look like.
Rick, were you about to say something?
I just speaking on your new tourism strategy. I think our response, and of course we have a point of view, but one thing that distinguishes Norfolk County from from all the other counties in southwestern Ontario, it is a United Nations recognized World Biosphere. And I think that is a branding opportunity that we haven't taken advantage of ourselves, and nor has the county. And I think that's something, given that COVID has reintroduced nature to people, I think that's a strong appeal in your tourism strategy. As well, speaking of diversity, your tourism strategy talks about diversifying the tourism experience, and frankly, that is exactly where the genesis of the Amazing Places program. It started in the Fundy Biosphere, and they found some of their significant sites getting trampled, and they said, well, there's lots of other things to see and do in the Fundy National Park, but of course the average visitor didn't know about them. So we followed that route in saying, yeah, there's lots to do in Norfolk County. You don't have to just go to Turkey Point or Port Dover. You can do on the way, you can go to different things, or on a rainy day, there's cool places to go as well. So we see some great alignment between the new thrust of the strategy, tourism strategy, and the way we're viewing sustainable tourism at the Biosphere. That's my comment. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, Rick, and thank you for that. And you hit the nail on the head. The purpose of us now bringing everyone back together is to say, what are some of those opportunities that we've missed, or what are some of those things that we really need to focus on? So I appreciate you saying that, and I do see a great opportunity for us to collaborate in that way. So thank you.
So that's great reinforcement to hear that we have an alignment with the presentation today. And moving forward, there will be an opportunity to see how best we can co-promote. Christine?
Thank you. I think I'm really excited about this. And if you take a look at the UNESCO Biosphere, the word here is in that. And if you had UNESCO Biosphere and you can kind of underline the here, Norfolk County, and kind of the co-branding strategy would be, we have the biosphere here in Norfolk County. If maybe Zvi on our, as a co-branding initiative, the Amazing Places is featuring, the biosphere Amazing Places. Wouldn't it be interesting if, from a tourism economic development perspective, we create a list of amazing places that run alongside that concept, that aren't necessarily biosphere, but they're amazing places in Norfolk County that don't have to be related to the biosphere. And using sort of borrowing your concept, marrying the two, because I agree. If you come into, and come into Turkey Point, yeah, go on the trails, go to the beach, go grab something to eat, go shop, and go spend a ton of money over at Cindy's place. Like, there's lots of things that you can. It's that coordination. So maybe one of the tourism strategies could be a co-branding thing that, you're right, UNESCO, like, this is a unique thing to Norfolk County, but it's not the only unique thing to Norfolk County. Have basically a collaborating one that runs alongside, and then maybe Zvi, we figure out as a group here what we think are the amazing places in Norfolk County outside of Biosphere that we can run alongside. Then maybe the focus of this coming year, because, it's a tightrope between public health and people coming and going. Maybe it's really, once we identify those assets and market their availability, it's the awareness is what we're focusing on this year. It may not be the bodies and the bums in the seats, but it might be the awareness campaigns and identifying those promotional opportunities. Figure out first, what are we trying to trumpet out there, and what are the water coolers around which these people were trying to get their attention? What are those venues? Is it a mobile app? Is it ad space? Is it promoting stuff? And the other thing I will add to that is Venture Norfolk. We have a community economic development grant program. So if there's something that needs some dough, I can't promise tons of money, but these are things that, from a grant perspective, these are the types of community economic development initiatives that our CED committee takes a look at. So I put that on the table as an opportunity, maybe Zvi and anybody else on the call to kind of have in the back of your head and consider. Thanks.
If I could respond, Christine, the Amazing Places were nominated by the public. We asked the public to nominate them. Cool. And we had as a goal, with our funding we got from Trillium with 3 other biospheres, 20. We said 20, but there is no reason there can't be more than 20. We just happened to, we stopped adding places. So, we don't maybe necessarily have to duplicate effort. I don't think we'd have any problem if we kind of agreed on criteria or a selection process to expand Amazing Places again in alignment with the thrust of your new tourism strategy, which is to expose people to all kinds of different areas and experiences and opportunities throughout Norfolk County. So we'd be open to a collaboration along those lines, and really like your branding emphasis on the here in Biosphere. I gotta share that with my colleagues at Biospheres across Canada. It's a great line.
It's free. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I can ask Zvi or perhaps Chris, if we still have an online portal which lists all of our businesses that have in the past been marketing partners. I know we've had a directory, and I'm just wondering what is currently available, just to build on the last conversation of collaboration and other affiliated businesses, eat, drink, shop.
Yeah, so I'll start, and if I miss anything, I'll ask Chris to jump in. So yes, the answer is yes. We still do have on our website the directory. What happened was we used to have this marketing partnership program that was a paid program, so it was kind of like a pay-to-play program. And the sign up for getting onto that website was dependent on having this membership. We've since discarded the membership-based model. Chris actually just led the effort to get rid of the sign-up process that required kind of this paid membership. And so now we have this self-serve module that's back on our Norfolk tourism website. So businesses can go on there, self-register, and then put up their business. In addition to that, of course, we have this app that will be a tourism-focused app, and we are looking for ways for the two to be synchronized so that we don't end up with, a business that's on the website but isn't on the app, or a business that's on the app and not on the website. So we want to keep those synchronized. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the Chamber of Commerce in Simcoe is working on a new project called By Norfolk, which is a county-wide directory of businesses. So businesses have multiple places where they can go register. The By Norfolk one's an excellent one, and so a bunch of places to go.
Very good. Any other comments from committee members? I feel that there has been some very good discussion which have established next steps for collaboration. I'm just wondering if, as our presenters today, Amanda, Rick, Sandy, if you had any further questions. I know that Christina's mentioned some funding opportunities. Zvi has certainly identified further exploration as to how to remount, and we've got Christine who wants to chime in with some feedback.
With that app, I looked at an app. I wish I remember the name and the functionality, but it was an ability to. It was like a GoFundMe page where you can support it by a click and you get money. Would love to incorporate something like that. You get on the Lynn Valley Trail. You want to support the local biosphere in the area, click here to donate, and then the trail gets the money to clean itself up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a way of, for these socially conscious millennial folks, put your money behind your mouth. And if you want to, preserve and protect, if there's a way to include that, it just helps with generating dough. And if people pay, if it's free, they don't value it. And if there's a little bit of a something, there might be a little bit more of a pickup, just as a suggestion.
That's a great point.
I see Cindy has her hand up, and she's on mute. There you go.
I'm not now. I'm just going to jump in on what Christine said, and I know you have lots of fundraising, but you always can do with more money. I'm just going to mention this because it's something my mom gave me for Christmas. And I'm going to show it here if you can see it. It's actually in Scotland, and it's actually land that's there, almost like a biosphere in a sense. And they sold one little patch to people. So you actually bought a section of the land and you got a little pin and you got a badge and you got ownership and it's got your GPS coordinates and all that. It's hilarious. I mean, I don't know what she paid for it, but they
Cool.
it's this cute little package. She's so excited. You can actually go sit on your little 1 foot by 1 foot patch of land if you want to in Scotland. So I don't know if that's something that certainly we don't want to go squat on somebody's property in Long Point, but perhaps it could tie to trails or something, just as a way that we all, like you said, Christine, we all sort of have a vested interest in it and keeping it clean or whatever. You can say, yay, I own, and you get a little badge for your house or something. So anyway, I just wanted to show and tell that.
That's
Cindy,
fun. That's very fun.
Cindy, at the risk of dating myself, I do have my certificate from the big 1 square inch of land Yukon Gold Company that's given out in the 50s with cereal boxes.
Yeah.
You could write away and you have got a certificate. You owed 1 square inch of land in the Yukon. So it's an interesting concept, and I know they're doing that. I think on the Isle of Harris and the Hebrides, basically buying back the land from the states and making it a public resource. So it's a big program. Thank you.
They actually say that now I'm called Lady Cindy Vanderstar because of it.
So that's kind of similar to getting screeched, right? Maybe not as much fun, but
But think about it. You buy a virtual inch to support an actual mile. Like, there's some really cool marketing legs on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And every quarter, round up to save, right? And maybe that's some of the co-marketing thing is you round up at the store, like they do at A&W for MS, round up your purchase and support the biosphere. And there's your tie-in with the money and everything else.
Well, we've got a very creative marketing professional at the table, Helene. Maybe she's got something to add here. Good to have you here.
And I just, I own 1 square foot of a small island somewhere in Maine because Cards Against Humanity did a very similar thing for their Black Friday promotion one year, or maybe it was their Christmas promotion one. But what I was going to offer was to share that documentation because they had a whole lot of, they had all their language figured out as to, what it was and what it entitled you to and stuff like that. So I think it's a fantastic idea. Obviously, you just want to put all the right fine print around it. Yeah. And I thought it'd be useful to share some of that I just happened to dig up out of a box a couple weeks ago. So, but I think it's absolutely great. And Christine, you're better than half the copywriters I've worked with over the years.
Get a Moderna vaccine. It sparks your creativity like crazy.
Well done. Great feedback. As our guest today, how do you feel this went? Do you have some great equitable ideas to walk away with?
Yeah, I would say so. I think there's some great partnership opportunities, like you mentioned. I know our Clean Up Norfolk and Clean Up the Great Lakes initiative is just getting started. So perhaps, Christine, we can connect with you once we've got some more information there. And then Zvi will keep in contact about the branding and the app and how we can launch those kind of together as we move through the summer. So.
I've got some good connections at the St. Lawrence Seaway if you need them.
Great, okay.
Get that going. As we can't say no.
Yeah, actually, with regard to that, we're actually have started a collaboration with the Regional Science Consortium in Erie, Pennsylvania, on a program that they are doing for reducing plastic pollution in Lake Erie. And we've applied for funding for that, and it would be a major initiative on the Canadian side of the lake to parallel what they are doing on the U.S. side of the lake, and we're just both waiting for funding on that. But it'll be a big deal. They have got PBS and Erie as a major sponsor to promote this, so we think that's going to be a really big initiative that'll affect all of, not just this biosphere in Norfolk County, but all of southwestern Ontario. So some good
happy
things
to
in the
work on that.
coming in down the pipeline that we're just we're developing or waiting for funding for.
Okay.
Well, very good. Well, thank you for joining us. And yeah, I think we have our next steps that have been identified. And so at this point, just in respect to the protocol, Zvi, Teresa, our guests, welcome to stay on the call and join us if they'd like. I know these are public meetings.
I think Teresa might be better positioned to answer. I honestly, I don't know. I know they are public.
I wasn't sure. Yeah,
Yeah, through the chair, absolutely. Advisory committee meetings are public.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you already have this, so I apologize if I'm overstepping, but we do need to accept the presentation for information.
Okay. Then that would be a motion that I'm bringing forward, is to accept the presentation. I'd like to bring that motion forward. Do we have anyone who'd like to move that? Okay, we have Chantel. I was told we don't need a seconder. All in favor? Hands up, head nodding, carried. Thank you.
Okay.
And yeah, and Jerry had his hand up. Thanks so much. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Wanda.
Yes, and feel free to contact us if you have any thoughts, coming out from your further discussions, or just occur to you from the things we've discussed today, because this is new to you, I realize, but we're happy to continue the dialogue on an informal basis anytime.
And just know that these are public meetings, and unless you have a fabulous dinner waiting for you, you are more than welcome to stay with us on the Zoom call, and as we move forward through our agenda. So thanks again.
Thank you, Wanda.
I think Sandy and I have little dogs waiting for their dinner, so we have to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay, item number 5, approval of the meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review the meeting minutes. I am looking for a motion to accept the minutes. That was Michelle. Okay, we have a motion by Michelle. All in favor? Okay, I see hands up. Thank you. Carried. Next, we have item number 6, communications. And this actually is, I'll just offer a little bit of comment and then ask Zvi to perhaps add a few comments on his end. I know we've had some really great discussion regarding the positive PR campaign, and I thank everyone who has kindly offered to support that initiative. What we have identified looking at our governance structure, that was not something that was supported by the committee in whole. So it is an individual initiative that the committee feedback had identified we should really look at bringing forward to the new county communications director. And I understand that personnel, the hiring process is underway. And I've spoken to Zvi and suggested that some of the recommendations at the table was to invite that new director, once they are hired, to attend this meeting and to see how we can best work with that leader to incorporate our positive PR campaign ideas. So Zvi, I don't know if I've captured everything on that in summary.
I think you did. The only other piece I would add is that we still intend this year to go through a process of reviewing the terms of reference for TDAB. And if at that point this item resurfaces and there's a desire, we can certainly look at options. But as we learned last time, really it is an advisory board for council. And so even through an amended terms of reference, it would still have to be somehow funneled through council. So we agreed that really for now, at an individual level, certainly makes sense if anybody's out there promoting the county or talking about issues, certainly. But from a TDAB perspective, probably not right now. And the one thing that we committed through economic development was to get more proactive about our communications so that at least the economic development activities that are underway, we can be more proactive about getting out to the community and engaging with the community. And we've certainly restarted our newsletter and been putting more of this kind of stuff in the newsletter. So hopefully that makes a difference. It probably isn't perfect. There'll probably still be opportunities for us to learn. But yeah, I think we've got a path forward.
And I just asked for Teresa if she can make a note as well that for a future agenda item for us to invite the new communications manager as a guest to the meeting. I know Councillor Van Passen had mentioned a video initiative that could be considered, knowing that this would be an individual submission, not on behalf of this committee, but for those who wish to offer a supportive message regarding doing business in this community and relocating and investing in Norfolk County. So Teresa, if you can capture that, so we can maybe include that as a future agenda item.
Yeah, I already noted that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And just one other question. Do we know where that process is now and a timeline of hiring for that personnel? Any idea? No one? Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to B, and that would be Economic Recovery Task Force update. Zvi.
Perfect. Okay, just bring up the update here. Okay, so the Economic Recovery Plan, just a reminder, there's 4 parts to the plan: Buy Norfolk, Build Norfolk, Innovate Norfolk, and Recover Norfolk. So very briefly touch on each of those. The Buy Norfolk part of the plan, we have a subcommittee that has launched. It's met once. We have a second meeting that I expect will happen later this month. We've hired a digital platforms coordinator. We were able to secure a grant to hire a coordinator that will help us with 2 of those digital projects. So one that we now call Shop Norfolk, which is the Amazon-like solution, and the other one, which is Visit Norfolk. That's in kind of an interim name, which is the app, the tourism app. So we have somebody that can help businesses with their onboarding, promoting to the community, and helping set up the delivery service, which is something that we wanted from day one to ensure that it is just as easy for somebody to buy locally from this platform as it is to buy from Amazon. And with Amazon, it's really easy to press buy because for most people, there's no delivery charge. So we wanted to replicate that. And basically, the way I refer to it is eliminate any friction that might prevent from local buying on this platform. So that he started, and that's underway. You should start seeing ads if you haven't already this weekend on Facebook, some print ads, and as well as radio ads to start promoting to businesses. So we're not yet promoting directly to the public in terms of using the platforms, but to businesses to get onboarded onto the platform. So that's underway. The Digital Services Squad is, we had an extension on that project, and we've actually hired an additional digital services squad to replace one which became that digital platforms person. He went from being a digital services person to being a digital platforms person. Lots of really similar sounding titles, but we're replacing the digital services squad person, and that individual has just started. You may have noticed a patio staff report that went to CIC last week and was ratified by council this week, and it's a report to make patios easier, simpler. The process we're now working on internally to actually streamline the process, and also more affordable. We asked council, and council approved that the fees associated with patios for 2021 will actually be offset through some of the funding in the economic recovery plan. So those things are all underway as part of Buy Norfolk. Through Recover Norfolk, that's the 4 grant programs. We also have a subcommittee that has been struck and is underway. They've had 1 meeting. The second meeting will happen in early May. And we are currently in the process of building out those grant frameworks. So what will the grants look like? What are the criteria? We don't want to make them very complex. We just want to make sure that we put enough in there so that we're actually getting the types of outcomes that we're looking for from the perspective of economic recovery and supporting the 4 industries that were identified as hardest hit. So that process is underway. Once the frameworks drafts are completed, they'll go back to the committee. The committee can make changes or ratify them, and then finally that will go back to the recovery task force that will then start deploying those grant programs. So I hope for that to happen in May. Build Norfolk, this is all about growth in business, growth in entrepreneurship, and growth in the community. The main project that we're waiting for right now is BRINC, which was also named by Christine. It's the Business Resource Incubator in Norfolk County. This is a grant program that we've applied for through the RED program, and we're expecting in early May to hear yay or nay as to whether we got that funding, and if we did, it'll be a 1-year pilot project, but a really ambitious, cool, fantastic, much needed project as far as I'm concerned. But it will be ambitious in that a lot of resources will go into that. But it's a super exciting, basically an entrepreneurship and innovation center pilot in Norfolk County. So that's those 3, and then the 4th part, Innovate Norfolk. That's the one that we're really, it's most dependent on businesses and businesses telling us what their needs are. It's all about using technology and other forms of innovation to support businesses through COVID. So that could be anything from a labor sharing platform, volunteer matching for the arts industry. There's a lot of things. So that one is slowly moving forward, but we're really waiting for the right opportunities. And we are very, very, very much at capacity within economic development. So we figure that we'll kind of focus on getting things right that are underway. And this one will wait for the right opportunity to find us. So that's really the update on where the economic recovery plan is.
Zvi, as you're looking for things to do, and we're the think tank, I see Christine has her hand up, so she has some feedback, and I encourage everyone in the committee to offer your comments as well. Christine?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Zvi, great work. You're a rock star. Thank you very much for leading and pushing all of this, because I know it's uphill. I just have a question for you. The shop Norfolk, how do you figure how many businesses are on board, and are there any sectors or business types that are underrepresented so far that we all could collectively nudge to get on board, so that the platform to me is only as good as the diversity and the numbers of people who are on it? Number one, who's not on, and is, who do you want to see on that isn't? And secondly, as part of the, SEO is real important in the cross promotion of the Shop Local platform with the individual website. Those co-links, I'm not a web scientist, but I know those co-links do everything to really up the SEO results. And I'm just wondering if, as part of, I know it's something simple and little, but even just that cross-linking of the shop of those websites that kind of go back and forth on each other's, it'll just help the impact that much stronger. So if we're not asking for it, maybe the digital squad can take a look at, maybe they already have. I'm not trying to, but if they haven't, it's just a really good natural way for natural SEO that doesn't take much if you think about it now. those are my two
Yeah.
questions and comment.
Great questions. Thanks. So for the first question, we are just this week actually starting to put out the ads to attract businesses onto the platform. Colin was hired last week into the role. So in a couple of weeks, we'll have our next, actually in a week and a half or so, we'll have our next Buy Norfolk subcommittee meeting. By then, I should be able to answer the questions that you're asking. But our goal is to get 50 businesses onboarded at a minimum for this kind of phase one that we're going for. I'd like more businesses to be onboarded, but 50 is a good number. A lot of communities have way lower numbers. So
Okay,
you look like you have a follow-up.
Yeah, just sorry guys. I'll talk to Colin or touch base. I can promote this to our database of business clients because with our triple RF, we got like 70 new clients on the books. So I could certainly put that in front of them in a direct email coming from Venture Norfolk saying, hey, if you're not aware of this, might want to give it a shot, and I'll promote it as best as we can from our platform.
Yeah, fantastic, and definitely, and I'll let Colin know as well.
Okay.
That's fantastic. Great. As long as it's kind of like a retail client, right? It's somebody that has a product to sell. That's really what this platform is for. And then in terms of the SEO, yeah, absolutely, you're right. The good part is we're part of actually the link for the platform is norfolk.shopmytown.com. So we're part of this Shop My Town platform, and they do a lot of their own promotion, SEO. So if anybody goes not even to norfolk.shopmytown.com, but just Shop My Town, or is it .ca? I think it's .ca. But if they just go to there, they'll see Norfolk as one of the options to click into, and then they get into the Norfolk environment. But the whole platform is being promoted and SEO'd. But yeah, absolutely. Once we have businesses on, that's really our focus right now. Let's get businesses onboarded. Let's figure out the delivery. The delivery is really complex. Like I never really imagined how complex delivery is, but how do we avoid a driver going from, resident to Dover Cheese Shop, back to Simcoe, back to Dover Cheese Shop to pick up another order, and back and forth and back and forth? How do we create a centralized kind of drop-off location, and how do we minimize the number of trips per day? So we want to figure all of that out. And once we have that underway, then really the promotion will happen. Right now, it's like, let's get people on this thing. Let's figure out the logistics, and then 100% promotion. Yeah.
And Zvi, just I know we've got a chat going on. We've got Jerry, who was searching by Norfolk, and Michelle as well, just doing back to search engine optimization. So I think there'll be some retooling on that and recommendations. Michelle?
Yeah, I was actually just wondering, when I go to buynorfolk.ca, it doesn't look like it's what you're talking about. Do you know who owns that?
No, so Buy Norfolk, we originally planned to call this Buy Norfolk, but then the chamber came up with the business directory that I referred to earlier, and they got that domain name Buy Norfolk. So our project is no longer our economic recovery plan section is still called Buy Norfolk. The project, and that you'll see in all the ads and you'll hear in all the ads, is called Shop Norfolk, and the link is norfolk.shopmytown.ca.
Have you approached Buy Norfolk to maybe add a button to click to sign up for Shop Norfolk at the top of their website? Because I mean, that was a really easy to find website. So and that has all the businesses on it. Like that might be they might be willing to do that because it doesn't hurt them at all to it's beneficial to them to have people to sign up.
Yeah, well, we're partners with the chamber on buynorfolk.ca, so we've talked about having the link. So once we go live, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like a header ribbon on there would be awesome to just have click here to sign up for Shop Norfolk kind of thing.
Yeah, and in fact, we went one step further. We said that if you have a business that has a little profile within the business directory, if they're actually on Shop Norfolk, we would have a link right from their directory profile to their online store in Shop Norfolk. Did I lose everyone?
So what's our website then? I'm gonna look it up right this second.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. So it's Norfolk. So the main platform is Shop My Town, but if you want to go directly to Norfolk, it would be norfolk.shopmytown.ca. Yeah, norfolk.shopmytown.ca, or you can just go to shopmytown.ca and click on the big button that pops up that says Norfolk.
Okay, great.
Oh no, one of the top listings that comes up is Shop Our Town, that downtown Simcoe initiative.
Yeah, and we have the BIA has an initiative called Shop Our Town. It's another business directory. It's specific to downtown Simcoe. And yeah, the names are similar, but I mean, everyone's trying to do things and get the catchy names. We'll promote this enough. I think there'll be multiple ways for people to hear about this and know about this. And we've also talked with each of them about cross-promoting in terms of having links of each other's business directory to our platform. But yeah, the names are similar for sure.
Is shopnorfolk.com taking me to the right place?
I don't know.
It's like shopcity.com.
Shop North. Well, that wouldn't be ours if shopnorfolk.com is not our. Shop Norfolk. Oh, come on. Shopnorfolk.com. Shop City. No, this is not our platform. Although we did just talk about Shop Norfolk earlier today, actually, when we were speaking with one of the delivery options. But again, this is more of a directory. So you can search local businesses just like Buy Norfolk, but it is not an Amazon platform. It's not like, hey, I want to look through a store, I want to buy something, I want to return something. It doesn't have much e-commerce capabilities.
Just a heads up, shopnorfolk.ca is available on GoDaddy, so you might want to buy it.
So we thought about white labeling this.
Or just as a redirect, I was thinking more. Not like as white labeling, but as a redirect. I think it would be nice to be able to give like a short URL that is branded kind of thing. But anyways, it's available just in case.
Okay. No, that's a good idea. Shopnorfolk.ca.
For $2.99.
What? $2.99. All right. Thank you for that.
Christine, you have your hand up?
No, that was from last time. Believe it or not, I'm putting it down. So I'll shut up.
And Michelle. Great. Anyone else for Zvi? Fantastic feedback. Thank you. Zvi, you must rest well at night. We know you have a full itinerary. Thank you for your update.
Thanks, guys.
Right. And moving on to under Communications C, TDAB action items. And I'm not sure with Zvi, is that regarding your committee, your committees that are meeting?
The action items? No. Isn't there a tracking sheet for TDAB action items?
Ah, the tracking sheet.
Hi, Wanda. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't attach it to the email. I actually didn't see one because I believe that we're basically all caught up to date aside from the PR item, which we basically bring up every meeting anyway. It was kind of just a force of habit for me to put it on there.
Well, you know what? Thanks, Jacob. What we haven't seen is I think we had a skills assessment audit where you were collecting, all committee members were providing their expertise and skill in various areas, and that's a report that we've never received back to this committee.
I could give you who I have in my file here.
So I believe you did circulate that when we built our new team, right?
Correct. Now, I don't know if I gave you all of the, like what I got from everyone returning, did I? Like all the returned assessments or recruitments?
No, I think it was going to be a consolidation of everyone's responses so
Okay.
we could see the document in its entirety.
So
we knew, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if I have everyone. I can give you, so far to this point, I've received Chantel, Wanda, Nick. Let me just scroll up here. Cindy, Sarah, Antoinette, Jerry, Laura, Michael, and that's all that I have. Has anyone sent me one that I didn't read out?
No one is responding, so we have a few people missing for feedback.
Alexis. Okay, I may have Alexis is here. Just give me 1 second. I just need to go through my list because somebody. I have Alexis. I have your AODA. I might just have to go back through because they were sent at different times as well.
So what I was thinking is that to the consolidated document, perhaps we could have that ready as a shared document that we could review at our next meeting.
Okay.
And
Alexis, I do have yours. Sorry, I do have it here. It was just in. I just wasn't able to find it on my folder, but I do have it. Thank you.
Okay, so if you can put that on the agenda for next month, and have that document, perhaps share that with the committee as part of correspondence, and then have it ready for a share so we can get to learn about all of the strengths and skills of our team and identify how we can move forward. I know that this is actually a very valued exercise that we are completing at the Simcoe District Chamber of Commerce. Really allows us to know the equity and the skill set around the table. Does that work for you, Jacob?
Yes, it shouldn't be a problem. Worst comes to worst, I can also just maybe gather them and, you and I and Michelle can kind of take a look and see exactly how we want to compile them. Whatever works. But I believe I have at least the majority, if not everybody's. I haven't had time to go through and kind of cross off a list. But it looks like we've got quite a few anyway.
Okay, that's great. We're almost at the finish line. That's fantastic. Thank you. And we're moving on to other business. And the first item was Zvi wanted to talk about the formation of a cultural committee, and he had some other economic development updates. And then we're going to let you rest.
Great. Thanks, Wanda. So this has been something that I'm sure I've brought up at this board before, as well as several other forums. What I would like to do is put together a committee that is focused on arts and culture. Arts and culture is one of the hardest hit industries so far in Norfolk County, obviously because of COVID-19, but also arts and culture is a great enabler of tourism. And I think there is so much potential and opportunity. And many people have talked to me about the Gentlemen of the Road concert back in 2013 and the impact of that. We have some ideas actually around that, but I would love to have just almost like a group that can help and support and advise me. I'm familiar with the industry, but I would love to have a couple of folks that are knowledgeable in arts and culture and can help build out the arts and culture scene here in Norfolk County. So I just wanted to bring it to this board and get some thoughts. And I know that the Jazz Festival, they're looking for support as well from some knowledgeable folks in the community. They have their own board, but their board has shrank because some people have left the community. So it's just an opportunity that I think that this could eventually morph into a fully fledged arts council. And an arts council is a magical thing. They help with grants, they help with fundraising, they provide legal services to communities with well-developed arts and culture communities. I would like to start with a small group of people that can help, and we have some ideas and projects that we'd love to run. So anyway, that's it. I don't have a presentation or anything, but I did want to get everyone's thoughts on that.
And before we move on to Christine, I just encourage anyone who might feel that they have relevant experience in that area, feel free to share your comments with Zvi, because this is building from the ground up. Christine?
I just wanted to share that Venture Norfolk has put some support behind a local person who is very vested in the film industry locally and abroad. Her tentacles go very far into other communities in this space. So we have put invested some money to create a film resource directory that would itemize the assets in Norfolk County that would support somebody in the film industry for production. So when they are looking for a location and they go, oh, this looks like an interesting place, do you have editors? Where do I get the catering and all that kind of stuff? So to your point, to start, and I believe there is on the Norfolk County website, if someone were to call in looking for film resources, yep, we take the call, but we do not have that list or that database available to say, and here you go. So we just put support behind that this very recently. So to go towards that arts support, we're on that from the film perspective, because in getting this directory, part of the promotion is going to getting in the trade shows of the Ontario Film Commission and various others. Shoot, is it Ready, Set, Shoot Hamilton or something? It's again, it's a film production group organization. So at least we'll be able to have this person create that database of film assets that we can now, when someone calls in to Norfolk County and says, I think I want to do something, well, here you go. So there's a tactical reason to stay here. So just wanted to share that with you in the committee.
So is this someone that you think might be interested in participating, or is that off the table?
I can't speak for her, but if there was a board that didn't have her, I'd be very surprised at the integrity of the board. So I'm going to say yes, but I can't speak for her. But I'll talk offline with you and give you the name, and you guys can connect.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And Christine, and maybe perhaps if there's information for area businesses to register, that would be important for that information to come back to this committee. And we'd love to hear more about that initiative.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very exciting emerging market. Yeah. And Antoinette?
Yes, hello. Sorry. I'm going to see if my camera I'm continuing to have problems with my with the controls on this. It happened to me last meeting as well, so I'm glad that at least my hand showed this time round, and I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Even if you can't. Oh, you can see me now. Yeah. Excellent.
Yes.
Good.
Welcome back.
Yes, it's anyway, it was a bit frustrating last time because the hand would not work. So in any event, to the point of my comments, one, I have spoken with Zvi offline about a culture committee, and I have expressed to him my interest in being involved in it. I have been very directly involved in arts and culture at the provincial and federal levels in my professional life, and at the local level with arts councils at the local level. and arts organizations. So it's an area that I'm very interested in being part of. I'm very glad, Zvi, to see you move towards a committee structure first to have a broader discussion about what's needed and what kind of strategy framework you might have for arts and culture before you leap to a structural solution in the form of an arts council. An arts council may in fact be where you end up, where the committee ends up, but my own belief is that arts councils can be excellent advocates for arts and culture in communities, but they do have some downsides. And I think that's, I think what you want to do and your objectives and where you want to go with arts and culture should drive this, and then you can come up with a structure that best fits that. As I say, big arts councils like the Canada Council and the Ontario Arts Council work extremely well because they have big, well-funded organizations with sustainable operating funding and significant programs that they have in place. Local arts organizations are often advocates, and they're very good advocates for the arts, but they're often seen by council, by municipal councils as yet another source of demands for already scarce funds. And so some of them have not had particularly good outcomes in terms of their sustainability. I know that you come from Barrie, and that might be Zvi. I know that, and the Barrie experience might be very different. But anyway, so that's just to say that I'm very interested in being involved in this aspect of it. I think it's absolutely essential to a recovery to be able to engage the creative people in your community. The focus these days, no matter where you look, whether it's the federal budget or in other areas, is on innovation. And I think that arts and culture contribute significantly to a climate of innovation in the community, and not and anybody who's read Richard Florida's books on the creative class will probably agree that that it's imperative for healthy communities to have a healthy arts and culture sector. So thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
The creative class.
Creative
Tony,
class.
thank you so much for putting that on everyone's radar. Such an important part of a healthy community. 100%. Well
So that's
shared.
great. So I have two potential leads. One certain one. Thank you, Antoinette. I look forward to that. If through your journeys, folks, if you hear of anything else, please let me know. I'm going to be reaching out to some other folks in the community, but I'll briefly, without getting into too much detail, I'll briefly touch on a vision that I have. So if you think about kind of the Gentleman of the Road, which was a great thing, but also a one-day thing. So in terms of sustainability, it doesn't bring recurring revenue into the community, and doesn't really support tourism or arts and culture on an ongoing basis. I have a vision for something that is like that, but recurring. And live music is an amazing thing, because live music lets you compete directly with larger places that have much larger budgets. Because when you have a live band, that live band is not playing anywhere else. They're only playing in your location. And so if you have something that people want to see, they will come to your location. And then once they're here, well, then, you have all the opportunity in the world to make them, to give them the experience and let them see what else your community has to offer. Then you can start creating stay and play packages, bring in the hotels, bring in the restaurants. There's so much you can do. But if it becomes a continuous thing year over year, then even more to the point, you can really start becoming known as a location that does this kind of thing. And like, oh yeah, of course, we go to Norfolk for summer arts festivals. And, in Barrie, we used to have Kempenfest every year, 250,000 people. But I mean, we had an entire week around it. And lots of arts and culture would emerge from this one thing. But I feel like I can't really do it on my own. And so that's why this idea emerged to bring together an arts council. And then we also have the arts grants coming out of their economic recovery plan, and an arts council might be a great way to input into that as well. So yeah, not an arts council, sorry, an arts committee. As Antoinette said, we don't want to jump straight into an arts council. So that's it. That's me. It looks like Michelle and Christine both have comments. Go for it, Michelle.
Yeah. Yeah, so if that's the focus, like if that's your vision for the end product and that does end up being the direction you go, I'm not going to volunteer his time again, but my husband would be a good resource for you with his involvement with music, putting on shows and on large scale concerts and things like that. I mean, the two of us have previously had a meeting with the fairgrounds about that exact thing. Had COVID not hit, I wouldn't have been surprised if this year we would have done that exact, like we would have be putting on a festival right now. But I think that it's pretty important. It would be really important, I think, talking to people that do put on festivals to get any kind of a timeline for this, because I know if it's decimated people in arts and culture, people in production of large scale concerts, and people in playing music, I don't know how some of them haven't, I don't know how all of them haven't went bankrupt, to be honest. It's like heartbreaking to see what's happened to them. So, I mean, I think that the projected recovery for that industry is much longer than a lot of other industries. So I think like from the get-go, getting somebody that has put on very large scale concerts, even just feedback from them of like, you know, when should we even try and start something like this, because they're going to be so overwhelmed recovering from, you know, doing their existing stuff when we get back at it, that a new project, you know, a new, I guess, festival might be out of reach for a substantial amount of time. But I'm not totally sure. So he might be able to put you in touch with somebody to talk to about that, if that's kind of the vision. I know he knows the guys that run Sound of Music Festival really well, and a couple others, and he's done stuff for Mariposa before. So he could probably get you some good contacts, at least to kind of, you know, feel out what it might look like in a town like Simcoe. So, or a town like Simcoe, a county like Norfolk. But the fairgrounds is kind of one of the like only natural places.
Okay, so if I have that right, you're saying I should contact him and say, Michelle has volunteered your time again.
No.
Did I get that right?
She wants to stay happily married. Yeah. Be careful, walk the line.
But he can put you in contact with like he can get you contacts, or, you know, I'm sure he's happy to be a sounding board and stuff like that. I'm just not sure how much time he has, because, you know, anybody in the arts industry, as soon as they're allowed to get back at it, they're going to be working like 100-hour weeks, because they got to make up for this last year and probably 2 years by the time they're back at it. So.
Okay.
Great. Cindy? And then Christine.
I have a name that's perfect for you. Her name is Sarah, if you don't know her already, Sarah Moody Valdice. She's the music teacher at Valley Heights. She is heavily involved with the Hamilton Philharmonic and the Toronto Philharmonic. She was instrumental in, do you remember when we did that 5 towns thing where we did the music and the food and all that? Adam Berry kind of quarterbacked that. We got a grant for it. She was the one who put all the music together. An amazing band. So she's very, very well connected. I can get you her name. I'm friends with her on Facebook. She taught my kids. She's amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, great. Thanks.
Wonderful. Christine?
I love the idea. I think it's fantastic. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to, I mean, Zvi, you're all about innovation. And maybe it's the opportunity to create an innovative arts initiative here. And maybe festivals traditionally, you know, live bands is a venue for young people drinking and going out. Wouldn't it be interesting to offer as part of a festival an opportunity that's something that's family friendly, available for kids? It's not just about You know, you go to a beer tent, you get some beer and listen to music, though I love doing that and I miss it desperately. But just the idea from the creative innovation perspective, you've got Art with Heart in downtown Simcoe. Like, wouldn't it be interesting if they set up a tent where you drop your kids off, they do all these artsy crafty crap, and then the parents can go and have a really great, you know, Charlottesville beer while you're listening to something live, or adult, pick up a guitar and learn. Like, it doesn't always have to be just a show, you know.
Right.
There might be an opportunity. Let's be innovative in this space and say, okay, like, what's the thing now? You go and you paint stuff with your friends. I mean, who'd have thunk it that would be a thing? But it is. Wouldn't it be interesting to go to an arts festival where mom goes and does the picture, the kids go and play some xylophones and make a bunch of noise, and dad goes and has a beer and listens to the band? That would be a very different type of festival that might be the differentiator for Norfolk County as a family-friendly thing. That's, again, coming out of COVID. The idea would be we're competing with everybody else for that $100 for the disposable income. So how do you make that $100 or $50 that everyone in the family gets something? You know what I mean? Like that, I think, is some of the mindset coming out of this COVID recovery. It's cheap family entertainment that's safe and kind of nice. If it's a way to have a consideration, I think that would be worth it. A little bit of everything on the arts.
Yeah, for sure. And just so you know, the music was the draw, but really I was looking to incorporate the Lighthouse Festival Theater and the Old Town Hall. It's bringing arts into it, like performing arts. So it's definitely on the same page.
It also, I think, starts with an inventory of what are the artistic assets in Norfolk County. I mean, you don't know where you're going if you don't know what you've got and where you've been. So, not to be exclusionary, but we may have more assets than we know, and they might be concentrated in certain areas that we don't even realize. So maybe part of this Arts Council is first and foremost document the artistic assets, the art assets that are in Norfolk County, so we know where we're starting with and what we have to work with.
Great.
And if that was a project that needed funding, again, under my community economic development umbrella, I can't guarantee millions because it still has to go before a board, but I think this is a project that has certainly ties to the overall mandate of creating community economic development initiative.
I'd just like to add, many years ago, there was a cultural mapping initiative, and I don't know if the heritage coordinator would be a resource for that. I know that this has been brought up in the past. I don't think it was a completed process, but you certainly might find an inventory of assets to get started with and some contacts.
Okay, I can reach out to Melissa for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Zvi. Great update. And I think we now have Christine, and this is regarding regional relief funding update.
Yep. So I just wanted to share, there'll be a press release coming out shortly, so hopefully it'll make the paper if nothing major happens in the world. Venture Norfolk was one of the regional delivery agents that was tasked to be part of the regional relief and recovery initiatives for the area. The results so far to date, we have dispersed just shy of $2.2 million in regional relief and recovery loans. So these are like the CEBA loans that corporations would get from the bank. These are ones that we were able to provide to sole proprietors and Main Street business type enterprises as part of our mandate with FedDev. So the good news is about, call it 2.2 million in loans went out. Some of them were as small as 10 grand and $6,000. So you can appreciate the work to do all that paperwork for those tiny sums, but that money might as well have been $1 million to some of these companies that needed it to help them survive and pivot. We also were involved in about $181,000 in grants for what we call business advisory services. So it was very complicated language, but the bottom line is we were able to support some of our area chambers and organizations who supported SMEs to help get these businesses the technical expertise to help them pivot, change their sales processes. And I have to admit, a lot of it went to the digital piece of it. Not that we wanted to compete with Digital Main Street, but that Digital Main Street didn't apply to someone on the 14th concession. So we're very proud of the work that we did there. And as a result of the budget announcement, keep your ears open. We'll probably be looking at, it was indicated or hinted that we would be getting additional funding for RRF for those, the parameters around that. They haven't told us yet, but there'll be more support available to SMEs in Norfolk County, courtesy of the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. Again, the budget was just announced. It'll probably take a month before the details get to us, but I'm hoping it'll be sooner than that. And when it is, we'll have it out. So that's my very short update for the committee.
More resources on the way.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to live in Canada, where we have these resources available. Thank you, Christine. The final new other business item would be Nick and CED 101 update.
Yeah, and so yeah, if you're okay with that, I'll just go through a few more slides. Let's see if I can share here.
Your screen's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Just do that. And slideshow. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, so that's all good. You folks are seeing that okay?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, this is just the next part. We talked about the tree being sort of that analogy of the community economic development. Just as a refresher, the sun coming into the leaves and creating economic wealth, as leaves being the economic wealth generator, and the branches, those support activities that support the economic wealth generation, and the roots providing the basis and the environment supporting all of that economic activity. So this slide just shows 8 broken down CED activities: entrepreneurship and small business, community revitalization, research and marketing, infrastructure, investment attraction, business development, policy and legislation, workforce development. So all things that activities that contribute to community economic development. So there's a whole range or spectrum of activities that can be done in economic development. So let's see, is this advance? There we go. Okay, so yeah, so infrastructure is a big part of our economic development. Sometimes it's good to think about where some of the barriers are in infrastructure that might prevent or inhibit economic development in your community. So we have 3 categories here: community, which includes a hospital, arts center, museums, farmers markets, recreation, and so that aspect of infrastructure, because you know, a great community attracts businesses, and it attracts skilled workers, and you know, just keeps things developing and moving ahead. And transportation, so roads, harbors, public transit are important in a lot of aspects of, again, transporting goods in and out, people in and out for tourism, and also getting people to work as well, and utilities. The you know, where broadband is the big one, of course, right now. which we're all hearing. I mean, people are moving and they're looking for that access to broadband. And and there's a number of initiatives underway to improve that. Access to the proper phase of electricity, or the amount of electricity that's needed to run their business, and of course water, energy as a whole, including natural gas. So again, when we think about our community and think about infrastructure and where we might want to go with attracting or promoting economic development, we might want to think about what do we have in infrastructure? What are the benefits? Where could some of these businesses best locate to fit with the infrastructure that we have? And where are the opportunities, should opportunities come by to improve that infrastructure? So, you know, where can a municipality best invest their dollars in infrastructure? And yeah, and workforce development. So it's we've talked a lot about this in our committee about youth engagement and retention, and we've talked about you know, recruitment and attraction, newcomer attraction and retention. We've gone over that in the past, and as well skill sets that are necessary to meet the needs of the businesses that we have. What are those skills that are needed, and is that education and training readily available to those who are in a position to be trained? Again, how do we attract those skilled workers and continue to develop their skills and match them with the right jobs in the right industries? Certainly youth engagement, we've talked a lot about. It's about trying to create that environment where youth want to return to the community that they were raised in, to live and work and raise a family, and again to attract others as well, right? We've had some recruitment events in our area in the past, a job fair, and those sorts of things. But again, we're looking at, because of our virtual environment, there's different ways of doing that. There's been a virtual job fair put on by the Grand Erie Workforce Development and Training. Yeah, so there's still ways to do that. We just need to look at doing that in a different way. So research and marketing. So what we're talking about here is marketing, development, and management, overseeing the elements of the design of the community brand and determining the channels of distribution. So effective marketing can't be done without solid research on which to determine where marketing efforts should be directed. And so Zvi and his group have been doing a lot of work on that part. Again, that just basing that marketing on research. So having that background information about what's important in your community, and you know, what are those strengths that the marketing can play into and towards. And also, I think off the top of my head, to be real. So then, you know, when people are coming, the expectation that you've created through marketing, when they come here, they're experiencing that and possibly more. They're satisfied with what you've marketed to them. Yeah, so also it includes research and marketing can include having a business directory, an up-to-date listing of all the businesses within a community, including the relevant contact information. Again, when you start putting that information together and being able to sort it, you can see again where some of your clusters are, where there may be opportunity to enhance places for businesses to work together to supply or to serve each other where it might not be happening already, but and also to see where some of your strengths are in those clusters, and then opportunities like it may be researching that cluster and getting a sense of, okay, what are some of your barriers to expanding or to growing your business in this cluster, and when you work together as a cluster or group, then there's more opportunity from an economic and business standpoint to create new services for that cluster. Land and property inventory. We've seen some of that over the past as well. So an up-to-date listing of commercial and industrial lands and businesses available for sale or lease in the community. And that helps in that attracting new businesses into the area, and also for those looking to move or expand. So property descriptions, including square footage, zoning, servicing, prices, leasing rates, those sorts of things can be important and helpful. Economic analyses of your community can answer questions like what are the current economic conditions in the community, what components of the community have been growing, or what has been declining. Again, looking at those groupings and what's happening there. And we do have, just a side note to that maybe, is that our analyst program, which we statistics program, which can look at sectors and do economic analysis, is available again to communities, and Svea is aware of that, I think, and you've also requested that, I think, as well. But and I think I've shown you in the past some of the statistics that that we can get out of that to, again, see what's happening in our community and see what some of those trends are over time. So also the three main types of data: socioeconomic data, demographics, income levels, and education are important. Labor data and the movement of that labor. Where are they coming from, or where are our workforce going? And what's our competitive advantage in industry specialization with the community, and how does that reflect with the wage categories? So, you know, ideally in economic development, we're looking for lots of jobs in a high-paying category, right? So, again, just taking that into consideration when we're looking at our strategy around community economic development. Community profiles are important pieces of information to draw information from for when you're talking to folks, to attract people, and also for any media opportunities as well. Yeah, and then yeah, branding and marketing material, which we talked about already. So policy and legislation is also a part of economic development. It's these are tools that can be used through you know, through governance. Things like land use planning, and you know, in agriculture we've seen that happen in the recent past around on-farm value-added activities, and some changes to our municipal policy and legislation. It also, you know, land use planning is deciding where homes and businesses should be, where the parks and schools are located, all those types of things. And Community improvement programs, and that's a tool. The municipality can direct funds and implement policy initiatives towards specifically defined areas in their communities. And we've had a downtown community improvement program, but also we've had a county-wide one as well more recently. It's expanded that ability to, to help incentivize property owners and businesses in improving their presence in the business world, and having an open for business approach, an approach supportive of activities that aim to assist existing local businesses as well as potential businesses to interacting with the municipality and developing clear and timely approval processes that are always at the that communities can assist both new and existing businesses in making investments. And community revitalization is another one of those boxes, and economic developers are responsible for proactively guiding the development and reuse of aging and or underutilized infrastructure. Downtown commercial revitalization activities aim to improve the economic, physical, social, and well-being. So it's all of those things, right? Economic, physical, and social well-being of a community's traditional town center. And again, we've been challenged with that as well, and tried different activities around that. But it also includes our industrial areas as well. So, again, understanding that and understanding what some of the needs are or what some of the opportunities are, not only downtown, but also in our industrial areas as well. And business development. So again, business activities that assist in nurturing existing businesses within the community, engage local businesses to gain an understanding of the challenges and opportunities that face the community, and where possible, strategies are developed to assist businesses in addressing those challenges and acting on opportunities for growth. And one example of a program, and we help with that too, is business retention and expansion. And that really is, again, a fact-finding mission around asking businesses a set of questions, like a thoughtful and well thought out set of questions to get a sense of how they're doing and what their plans are for the future, and then looking for those trends and opportunities to assist. So there's some other things there. A focused sector development could be something to consider, and tourism is an example of that sector focus by local initiatives, which we're looking at, certainly with the Recover piece, and export trade and development services. So it's also thinking about, it's thinking about buy local, but it's also about those opportunities to bring that new money into our community by exporting our goods and services, and getting a sense from businesses where some of those opportunities or assistance might be needed. So, and so entrepreneurship and small businesses, access to capital, and Christine and Christine's organization is helpful in that, in our banks. It also, that's part of understanding the businesses and their needs. And is access to capital a challenge, or isn't it? It seems as though the last number of years that has not been an issue, but sometimes things change, and as our economy changes, the banks shift their focus, and suddenly they, certain sectors have trouble getting access to capital. So it's understanding that and helping them to see what other opportunities there are for them. Incubation and workspace. And so again, part of the Recover, and we've seen some of that co-working space go into downtown Simcoe, and business counseling and mentorship is another opportunity, as well as professional development and training. Again, and some of that happened. We've seen we had those workshops over the winter that Chris was involved in. And understanding, what are some of those needs, and how can we provide that training or access to training. Investment attraction, and so we're talking about economic developers attract new industries and businesses to the community to create new jobs and grow the local economy. So that involves a lot of marketing, right? As well as building relationships with local site selectors and the real estate community as well. And as well, site certification are activities that involve working with a certification body to demonstrate that a property is ready for development. For example, the Ministry of Economic Development, that might not be up to date. MEDT, they have a certified site designation that's issued to properties that have successfully completed a set of program requirements and demonstrate that the property is primed for development and ready for investment. And so again, that's part of that investment attraction and can be part of that marketing package. And I will leave it there. I ran through it fairly quickly because I didn't want to take up so much of your time, but that's a fair bit of information. And Wanda, I will leave it there. And if there's any comments or thoughts, we can do that. But I hope that that works.
Any questions for Nick? I know we've had a very engaging meeting, and Nick, I just have to say, I know this is the second part of your presentation, which very informative. Last meeting, this meeting, and I know you offer the courses as well. Certainly let us know if there's any online mounting for those courses. I think the stewardship of our committee is very empowering, considering the dynamic of everything we need to be looking at to engage and retool and get ourselves back on track. Zvi, we've got a comment from Zvi.
Yeah, just a quick one. I was going to bring an economic development update at the end. We're a little bit out of time right now, so I'll push it over into the next meeting. But as Nick was going through it and talking about BRE and land inventories and marketing, so many of the things are actually in the economic development update. So hopefully when I do it next time, there'll be some link backs to what you've learned tonight from Nick.
Okay. And I have, just before we leave, I have a wish list item. Alexis, are you still with us? Is she here? She is our youth representative. Yes. I was just wondering, when Nick was running through his presentation, and we've talked about it through several committees, youth engagement, youth retention. And if you can, if there's any way you can contribute any information that would help our committee to address youth retention, and from your perspective, we certainly welcome your feedback. I think that's the most important thing for revitalization as well, is to maintain that as a priority. Any comments on that, Nick? I know it's priority.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's, even reaching back to some of the stuff that Norfolk has visited before. I know there was something going on with, there was a youth Rotary group, and I'm not sure what happened to them through COVID, but, it might be, again, maybe circling back to some of those folks and saying, hey, what's understanding, that we've had an interruption, but is there a way to revive that? And yeah, youth retention and engagement is a really tricky one, right? I mean, a lot of communities have tried a lot of different things, and some have worked and some haven't. I think part of it is playing to your strengths as a community and finding out what resonates with a specific demographic that you're trying to engage with, because those demographics are changing more rapidly than the baby boomers and the post baby boomers, and those were large numbers of years, whereas their demographic, their title is changing more quickly, so I think it's understanding a lot of that. It's understanding that and knowing where you want to go with your attraction.
Mm-hmm. And I know this week that Tillsonburg was listed as listed 25 as one of the best cities to live in Canada, and a lot of that was based on their connectivity on the internet. So that was an article I read this week. So when I think about that checklist and everything that you've included in your presentation, and Alexis, she might be typing. I don't know if, because we're close to being wrapped up. Alexis, did you want to share anything? Can someone see Alexis' chat, her chat?
Yeah, do you want me to read it?
Can someone read that?
Sure. I can do that, Wanda. So Alexis says, I agree. I've been thinking on some of the topics we've discussed. And I think with a lot of people I've talked to, the information just isn't in youth circles, for instance. Facebook shares a lot of good information about what's going on in Norfolk, but it's not as available on Instagram or Snapchat. So I think that's key, is just putting out information where young people are going to see it.
Maybe this is a task for the digital squad to interpret Facebook into Snapchat and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with a PR firm, and we're looking at youth retention and engagement in another sector, and TikTok was where I was informed where we need to be positioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alexis will give us her feedback.
Yep.
We're meeting with a group on Friday. We're meeting with a group on Friday that their focus is on teaching young people technology skills and then positioning them in jobs in the community where they can actually use those technology skills, so they don't have to be, super high tech, but they train them and provide them those web and development skills, and then put them into small businesses to help them with websites, system integration, digital marketing. So we're looking at something like that, and then of course we have the student startup program that is launching again shortly.
Yeah, that too, right? We had that student entrepreneur and all that sort of stuff going on too. Thanks. And so Alexis is saying TikTok is a good one too. So
yeah, excellent. Well, I think that 2 hours and 11 minutes. Wow, another marathon session and fantastic feedback. And I just always think that if there's something that this committee should be making motions on or priorities that we're not addressing, please, we're all here as a collective to to bring those ideas forward. But there's a lot of activity going on. Thank you everyone for your time. I think I have the next meeting here as being May the 19th at 5 p.m. We'll be a few days away from getting out of lockdown, right? So let's keep the positivity going and get us through this chapter. Unpack those summer clothes because better days are on the horizon, okay? So thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, see you.
Thanks, Wanda. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
night,
you, Nick.
everyone.
Thanks.